Food contamination occurs when food is contaminated by bacteria, physical objects, or chemical substances. As a result, people can become sick when this contaminated food is ingested, either through eating or drinking. There are 3 types of food contamination. Number 1, physical contamination. Physical contamination is when a physical object finds its way into food. Examples are nails, metal, plastic, hair, foil, etc. Number 2, chemical contamination. Chemical contamination is when synthesized chemicals infect food. This happens during production and transportation. Examples are pesticides, mycotoxins, lead, mercury, dioxins, etc. Number 3, biological contamination. Biological contamination is when bacteria poisons the food. This occurs during all stages of the food production process. Examples are Bacillus cereus, E. coli, Salmonella, etc. Here are some important points to consider regarding food contamination. The issue has a widespread impact, affecting millions of people worldwide. In North America alone, 48 million individuals get sick, 128,000 are hospitalized, and 3,000 die. These numbers have more than tripled on a global scale. Food contamination can result in both short-term and long-term diseases. Illnesses like salmonella, typhoid fever, and botulism are examples of short-term diseases, while long-term diseases may include cancer, kidney failure, and chronic arthritis. We interviewed Ms. Jackson on how Amanda handles food contamination. If food in the school were ever to get contaminated in any way, what would happen?
So our school, much like all the public schools that are a part of the Georgia Department of Education and School Nutrition program, follows something called HACCP, H-A-C-C-P. And HACCP basically is a systematic approach to being able to identify and be able to rectify any type of contamination that happens on site or any type of food safety hazard. So our HACCP plan is in place, and based on the type of food safety hazard that takes place, we have different steps to address those individual issues.
Where do we get our food from? Is it a locally sustainable farm or an industrial farm?
That's an excellent question. So it's a combination, but primarily part of being a part of the Georgia Department of Education, our school nutrition program, we like to use something called locally grown, right? So we like to, in most instances, as much as possible with all of our food, our meat alternatives, as well as our fresh fruits and vegetables, be able to get them from locally sustainable farmers in the area. There are various number of programs within the Georgia Department of School Nutrition, as well as with the USDA, that allows us to support the local farmers in our area by supplying or by them providing us the resources that we need. There are some industrial farms that are utilized when you start thinking about some of the big boxes, or if you're buying and purchasing maybe frozen foods, which we try to minimally do. We try to always use as much fresh produce and fresh foods as possible, but from time to time, if we're using a large supplier distributor like a Cisco or like a US Food, something along those lines, we would use industrial farms. But the goal is to majority use local and sustainable farming.
Mean to you?
That's a wonderful question. Food contamination to me means anything that would come into affecting the quality of the food that is provided to our students. One of the biggest goals that we have within the Amanda School Nutrition Department is to maintain the highest quality in preparing the foods and providing it to our students. So anything that would affect the quality of it, be that a staff member is sick, that is a potential contamination hazard, because we don't want any staff that is sick to be anywhere near handling food or anything of that nature. It could be a foreign substance. It could be anything that would affect the quality of the food that is provided to our students.
What does the word... I looked at the Fulton County Schools website and found their policies for how they handle food contamination. All school nutrition programs are inspected by school nutrition area supervisors, the Fulton County Health Department, and the Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point on an ongoing basis. All school nutrition programs are inspected by school nutrition area supervisors, the Fulton County Health Department, and the Hazard Analysis Critical Control Point on an ongoing basis. I searched through Fulton County history but couldn't find anything on incidents involving food contamination. There are many ways to prevent food contamination, most of which you can do right at home. For example, always wash hands before handling food and re-wash hands after handling raw foods. Always check the expiration date before you eat something, especially for refrigerated and frozen foods. If it's past the date, throw it out. Make sure you have a clean surface to cook on. Wipe counters with disinfectant sprays to help prevent spread of germs. Don't use the same utensils and cooking materials twice without washing them. Buy food from local stores near you. It is less likely food will be contaminated with toxic pesticides if it's bought from a local farm. If you can't trace it, it's probably better not to eat it. Make sure to keep food stored at the right temperature. For example, yogurt needs to be in a fridge, but a bag of chips can simply be anywhere that has room temperature. We should be dedicated to solving this problem because it is a growing global crisis creating unnecessary stress, harm, and loss to people and affecting our daily lives locally and globally. If your food is contaminated, you aren't able to eat it and have to throw it away. If you do eat it unknowingly, you can get sick with either minor or serious illnesses, depending on the type of food contamination. Some can even lead to lifelong damage and even death. The good news is that there are many steps that can be taken to help prevent food contamination, and so it is important to educate ourselves and our communities to prevent further harm. So next time you cook with raw food or prepare food in general, take these steps to protect yourself and others around you.